And we're live. Welcome back, everyone. Craig Steger here. So, another live stream today. Wanted to do a quick video on a question I heard the other day that is actually a pretty good question, and I can understand how people would be uncertain of the answer. So, I want to try and answer it as best I can. So, here's the story. I overheard someone whose kid was going on a field trip, and parents were driving the kids to the field trip, and one of the parents gave instructions that their child was not to ride with this one person because they had reason to believe this parent did not have insurance on their car. I don't know if that's true or not, but that was the concern. They did not want their child riding in this vehicle that they thought didn't have insurance. And so I got to thinking about that. And so the question is, what happens if you ride in a vehicle that doesn't have insurance? Um, it probably doesn't matter as long as you don't own the vehicle. So um, this involves someone else's vehicle. But let's just for a moment, let's talk about. Let's say I buy a vehicle and I just choose not to have insurance on it, or insurance lapses. In that case, obviously, I shouldn't be driving that vehicle. And if I drive that vehicle without any intention of notifying my insurance company or anything like that, and I get involved in a crash, I probably don't have any liability insurance, and I probably don't have any uninsured and underinsured coverage if someone else injures me in my vehicle. Now, most insurance policies have a provision that allows you a grace period to replace vehicles or buy new vehicles. Check a policy. I think in my policy, it's like 30 days. It's easier to get coverage for something if you replace a vehicle that's already insured in your policy as opposed to adding a new vehicle onto your policy. But there is usually a time limit. It's usually short. You want to check your insurance policy and talk to your agent about that. But let's say that's not the situation, and and you're going to ride with someone else, or in this situation, you're going to have your kid ride with someone else. As long as you have insurance, so let's say you're the parent and you have insurance on your vehicle or vehicles, however many you have, and as long as your children, let's say they're under 18, live in the same house as you, under any insurance policy I've ever seen, your kids would be covered even if they are involved in an accident in someone else's vehicle and that other vehicle doesn't have insurance. Um, Auto insurance is typically transferable isn't the right word, but it goes with you. It's not just if you're in your own vehicle. It covers you if you're involved in someone else's vehicle. Let's say you're in an Uber or a rental, or someone, you're just riding with a family friend. Most insurance policies will cover you, and I think most states would require you to be covered. At least that would certainly be true in Wisconsin. Maybe there's other states that are different than that. But typically, your auto insurance is going to carry with you in other vehicles as long as you don't own that vehicle. Now, it can get a little dicey if, let's say, you're riding with a family member or someone else in your household and they don't have insurance on their vehicle. Or in some states, such as Iowa, I've been seeing insurance policies that will exclude coverage for members of the household. So if mom is driving and junior is riding, and mom falls asleep and causes a crash, under Iowa insurance policies, they may exclude coverage for junior, but then they kind of have a back door where they treat her as an uninsured motorist, and then there's coverage anyway. But that's not typically what happens. But if you're riding in a vehicle with someone that that's in your household and they own the vehicle and they don't have insurance, you might want to be concerned about that, just because depending on the state you're in, depending on the terms of the policy, there might not be coverage. But if you're just riding with someone else and they own the vehicle, in most instances, your insurance policy will go with you. Now, ideally, everyone would have insurance so that if there is, if if the person your kid is riding with causes a crash, you ideally would like them to have liability insurance to cover your child as a passenger. But if they don't have insurance, your child will be covered as under the uninsured insurance coverage under your own policy. So that's why it's really, really important to have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage. If you don't have uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage, if you've waived that, which is permissible in some states, then yes, then you need to be concerned if your child is riding with someone without insurance. But as long as you have uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage on your own vehicles, and your children that are members of the household with you are riding with someone else, that should be there to protect them, even if it turns out the driver of that vehicle doesn't have insurance. Now, as all with everything, it's really important to remember that states can be different, insurance policies can be different, and so it's really important to know your insurance policy and talk to your insurance agent to get clarification on that. But as a general matter, that's where your uninsured and underinsured motorist comes in, and it's going to apply to your kids or yourself, wherever, if you ride with someone else and it turns out they don't have auto insurance. I hope that answers that question. If I think of another situation that might change that, I'll try to leave that in the description, but I think that more or less covers it. I hope that's helpful to people because I can understand how people would be concerned about that. But yeah, otherwise, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. If you have a particular legal question, don't leave that in about a case that you have or family member. Don't leave that in the comment section. It's best to reach out to a lawyer directly, whether it's me or someone else. Call them or send them an email so that those questions and answers are confidential. So hope that was helpful. Appreciate everyone who watches my channel and subscribes. And until next time, everyone, have a good one.